Welcome to Chaos2Cured podcast. This is Jeffrey Freed and Kirk Patrick Miller. We're going to do one of our quick, short tips. And one of the things we're going to talk about today, or the thing we are talking about today, are outbursts and meltdowns. So, Jeffrey, we're trying to keep these down to like 5 minutes. So I'll just let you just jump into it, and then I'll go after you.
Certainly. Meltdowns are extremely common amongst people on the spectrum for certain, and for people who are just visual spatial with strong sensory things going on. And it's really pretty simple what's going on. These are folks who don't like to complain or to talk about things that have really bothered them, so they repress them. When you repress something, it gives it more power. Some people say the power of 10. And these are folks who don't like to talk about offenses, things that really bothered them during the day, because they're afraid of an outburst and of the intensity. They're afraid of the intensity of the feelings, that they might lose control, start to cry, get violent, whatever. So they repress them. And then again, you repress something, you give it more potential power. And it can come out at a totally inappropriate time, and it can be way stronger than, sometimes there's nothing to precipitate it, or it can be something really small. And the parent, friend, husband, wife looks at it and goes, "What? Where did that come from?" And it came from exactly what I just said, repressed emotions. So what I do with the people that I coach, counsel, whatever, is I really let them know that they should not repress the stuff. And I reward them, or tell the parents or friends or spouse to reward them for expressing stuff when it happens. They don't have to go into an outburst, but just say, you let them know that you really want them to talk about what it is that's bothering them. And it could be a lot of things bothering them, because they're more sensitive than most people. And that goes triple for people on the spectrum. Everything can be offensive. So I would just say, if you express yourself appropriately and don't stuff it, don't repress it, I'll make it worth your while. And do something small for them, praise them, buy them something real inexpensive, and not for doing any accomplishment, except for expressing their emotions when they're upset, verbally, or writing, or drawing a picture. But you let them know that it is far better to get it out than to hold it in. Because we all know what happens when you hold it in. So that's my take on it, Kirk.
I think that's really valid, and it's something I would honestly, I live by those words. Really helpful for establishing communication. So what Jeffrey just said, I would definitely double down on that. For individuals I work with, it's really vital that they understand. And I think the key word you said was they verbalize. When it's expressing, and you brought out like writing it down. If they need to text you, sometimes they don't want to talk. So it's okay for them. Yeah, text you or send you an email. You can figure that out. But I like the rewarding and the positive reinforcement. And like you said, this repressed anger, and there's all these, it's not even just anger, it's frustration at how the whole world doesn't seem to work, because it doesn't necessarily work for neurodivergent individuals who don't have the same linear sequential mind that the school and this whole system is built on. Don't necessarily see the value in some of the steps. And so there's a lot of frustration. There's sensitivities that we've talked about in the past, hypersensitivities that really are grating, and you, like you said, it's just all of the pressure, everything, the desire to wanting to be perfect for the people they love. I can't express that enough. These people are trying super hard. And that weighs down, it explodes. So being able to have a safe person that they can come to and vent. And the other key part is a safe person that's not going to cast judgment on them for anything they need to say. It's really easy to say, oh, you know what, they curse about somebody. It's easy to say, oh, you shouldn't curse about that person, or let them express. You can talk about what's appropriate later. So Jeffrey, I don't have much to add to that. I think the only thing you mentioned before, asking them, making sure they think what the repercussions are before and after their action. And for me, I would just add one thing, which is just, incentivize them to, like, how fast can they calm down? Make it a game. Calm is really calm is power. So if you get them to calm down quickly, the other thing is, I was going somewhere with that. I'll leave it with that. We'll keep it short. It's a great topic. Make sure to Jeffrey, you said it great. You want to close it off just with something quick? One more thing to reinforce.
I like the idea, and I'm glad you mentioned it. We've talked about this technique. Before you explode, you tell your student, son, daughter, whatever, visualize what might happen if you say or explode and do what you're about to do. Just preview the coming attractions as to what may come about if you explode, and then decide whether to do it or not. Most of the time, that process will lead you to not do it. But even if it does, and you get nailed for it or repercussions from it, you have no bitch coming because you've already previewed the coming attractions.
Perfect. And that actually led me back to my thought, which was breathing. If you can take 3 breaths before you react, you'll almost always do better. So we'll leave it at that. Thank you for listening. This is our short little tips that we're going to do. So please feel free to reach out with a specific topic you want us to cover. So thank you so much for listening, and we'll be back soon.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to Chaos2Cured podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please share it with everyone you know, and definitely like, follow, and subscribe. Certainly leave a comment if you'd like. Let us know what you'd like us to talk about the next time. Also, in our show notes, there should be direct links where you can follow us on our social media, as well as reach out to us directly. Thanks again, and have a great day. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed on Chaos2Cured podcast are the speaker's own. All discussion is based on our own experiences. We do not and cannot guarantee the accuracy or completeness of any information. Chaos2Cured podcast cannot give medical or health advice. All discussion is based upon our personal experiences and meant for general and educational purposes. This podcast is not a substitute for professional help or for diagnostic purposes for yourself or another. Chaos2Cured podcast always encourages you to consider